Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 46th session of the Devouring Dark. I'm fairly sure. So last time the group decided to embark on a quest for the genie, or the Jinn, or technically it's not a quest from him, but they just decided to help. And let's see. So you guys decided to start searching the plane of air, um, and you got to the outpost, which was relatively empty, except one creature that made a huge pile of garbage, um, and decided to burst forth from it eventually. After you fought it while it was hiding in the pile. And you managed to defeat it. And those are the important things. There were a few other things, but right now that's all that's important. Yeah. So you guys are in the 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 outpost. That's the word I'm looking for. And yeah, so that's where you are. And the last thing that happened was I'm pretty sure Lily and Alatar were searching through the garbage for something, and Adosan and Goroth were near the creature, and that is where we're going to pick up. Goroth already did a little bit, so we'll see how that interacts with how you're going to react. So, Adosan, you're near the creature that is recovering at the moment.
Is it? Oh yeah, it's a shadow, perhaps. Yeah.
Mhm.
So can I see what kind of creature it is?
Make an Arcana check.
Arcana. Ooh, that's a solid 20. Not a natural, but just a 20.
Just looking at the wrong thing here. Boop. Yep, 20. Um, so you examine the creature, and Goroth is also examining it slightly. You look at the complexion of it. It seems like the flesh is not healthy in any way, shape, or form. There's like scratch marks in the body. The tentacles on the top seem almost as if they are stitched on, and so are the fingers to the tentacles. Um, you have a feeling that this creature is an undead abomination.
So I also just point his gun at him. Can I kill it? Can I kill it? Can I kill it?
And then that is when Goroth looks at it, points his finger at it, and it vanishes entirely.
What do you do?
It's gone now.
I
You
want to know
don't
what
have
you
to worry
do.
about it.
I do.
Well,
Like
there's
you.
no need for that.
Well, I still do. I want to know where it is.
It's gone.
That's
It's in
not.
a safer place where it won't hurt any of us.
Am I with them?
You're looking through the pile on the bottom floor.
So Ursula goes, Limbo, isn't it?
Okay.
Why would you assume limbo?
Okay, Limbo, it is.
Well, it's
And
not
I'm
limbo,
assuming
but,
because it's quite safer in your eyes, not so safe for me.
I mean, it's not really safe in limbo, but okay.
Well, did you put it in a pocket dimension like your two red sleddy friends?
That's
Well,
never a good idea!
it's gone now. That's all that matters.
Yeah, it was a bad thing. And DT didn't get had seen better days for sure. Well, yeah, it's gone. It's poof. Do you think we should inform our friends on top?
I already did that.
Okay, so out of character question: how many floors down are we now? Because I think we went down one floor, we went down another floor, and then another
And then
floor.
another one where we found the creature, so we're now on the second lowest floor.
So are we on the four? No, we went 4 floors down, didn't we?
Yes, we're on the third now. The third one down. Or the second floor, technically, if we count upwards.
Okay. So Erza looks over to I keep forgetting the name, gosh darn me. Goroth, there we go. And looks over. Was it the only mind you detected?
The only what?
Mind?
Mind? No, not at all.
Okay.
Alatar is looking through the pile.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. So who else did you detect?
Well, first off, there was you. Then we have the half elf. We have the halfling.
Except us and the Akrokas.
Did I detect anything from DT? Any strain of thoughts or?
No.
He doesn't really have a train of thoughts, more like gears and commands, like a computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was it. That this creature, or I point towards where it was.
Okay, so the building is perhaps totally empty.
We checked all the other floors, so most likely.
Okay, then I guess we should go back up and tell the Akrokas that the place is clear, quote unquote.
I already did that, as I said earlier.
Okay, well, should we like take some time, adjust our gear, get fixed up and such?
Well, it would be wise to stop here before we enter the big city, either way. Or what do you think? And I look towards the stairs down.
Didn't we already take a long rest?
No. This is
Not
technically
yet.
before.
Do you wish to stay here until we are healed up before we enter the big city?
My character only used one of her spell slots, so I don't care. Let's go do things.
Well, DT needs some big fixing up to do.
Does he need a nap? I need a nap.
Well, DT doesn't fix up with naps.
I do good with naps.
Just take a nap then.
Okay, good night.
Night.
She spins in a circle like a dog would, and then just plops on the floor.
Okay.
Okay.
Short rest, long rest.
So yeah,
Alright.
before we take a long rest, Lily, you seem to like finding out new things. Do you not?
Are you talking to me?
Yes. You like experiments.
Yeah, let's go do stuff. Yay!
I'm gonna spend. Let me 2 seconds. I'm gonna find the book to see what sorcery points the different recharging costs. Because I want to swap spells for sorcery points so I can have other spells ready. I just had to find the book. So yeah, for a 4th level spell, it's 6 points. So I'm just gonna destroy a 5th level. And -1 there. So yeah, then I have another 4th level spells. Okay, so you're gonna. I'm assuming this is after the element is completely banished, right?
Yes.
So I wait until that minute passed, and I tell Lily. So you're gonna go somewhere else now. Could you try to look at your surroundings and see what you find?
Absolutely! Let's do it!
And I banish you. I think you can choose to fail the save if you want to, or you can make a charisma save.
She wants to go, so fail the save.
Okay, so she's banished back to her original plane.
Okay.
That being the material plane, right?
Yes.
I assume, as far as I know.
So, as he points his finger at you, you suddenly appear in. Let's see. Actually, I'm gonna roll something for this. Let's see, what did I get? 13? Yep, 13. So you suddenly appear on what looks like clouds. Sort of look around, see more clouds, and make a perception check.
11.
You sort of look to your left and right, and then you sort of look down, trying to look beneath the clouds. You see what looks like a landmass beneath you, and you see what looks like a building that is currently, it looks like it fell from a great height, and it sort of just fell on the ground. Its back wall hit the ground, and its walls are scattered everywhere. There are books everywhere. There's even a few bodies laying on the ground. You're not sure where you are.
Okay.
Just saying I'm gonna undo the spell before 1 minute has passed.
Yeah, well, she's taking a quick look around.
Yeah, I'm
Just a
just saying
perception
so you don't forget.
Sort of glance around. You don't see any other people, at least
Okay.
at the moment.
All right. When I poof back, I will tell them everything I saw.
Alright, so about 40 seconds, I'll say. He decides to stop concentrating, and suddenly you're just like, and you're back. You see the same room that you were in before.
I was in the clouds, and there was stuff and books everywhere, like a body. Wait, was there a body? I don't remember. There was a lot of things there, and my brain can't handle it all.
Huh, that's strange. With what she's describing, is there like any sort of knowledge checks we could make? As if we've heard of this?
You can roll history or nature.
And this was in the material plane, right? You're not from any other planes?
You can ask her.
Yeah, I'm asking her.
Material sounds good. I think I'm from there.
Actually, I'm gonna use Tides of Chaos, so I can reroll. So I have advantage. So that's 14, a little better at least.
Alright, roll your other thing.
29.
And Erosan, if you're nearby, you can have been watching this if you wanted to.
Yeah, he has, and also been like working on DT a little, so like
Yeah.
change him up a little.
As I
Alright.
start,
So you can make a check if you want, is what I'm getting at.
Okay, what check can I roll?
Either history or nature, depending on what you roll, you get something different.
I am going for history.
Alright. Wow.
20.
Okay. So, I'll give the information first, based on who got highest in what category. So, history, based on what she described, the building being on the ground and she was standing on clouds, there was a building that was set on clouds. I don't remember if I named it or not. It was the building from
the one shot with Cryodius and the Mantis.
yes. I don't remember if I named that building or not.
I think you did, or just the order, maybe.
Yeah. I'm not
A
sure
long
if I
time
named
ago.
it.
Do you remember, Lonnie?
That was a very long time ago.
Yes.
I think I'm still here.
I'm
Yeah.
Goldfish, it's fine.
Yeah, I forget what I named them. I think they're called the Chroniclers. if I
Yeah,
remember.
that seems right. Chronicles.
It seems to ring some bells, but people.
Yeah. So, yeah, their building that was in the clouds, their main library. That's probably what this is. The chroniclers are basically historians. They try to figure out the mysteries of the world. So they're sort of they have expeditions and everything like that. They're sort of like a modern day university. They try to figure out like what's causing different magical phenomena, that sort of thing, see if they can be manipulated or harnessed, that sort of thing. They chronicle all of this. They also, different historical events, they'll send representatives there. Since you got a natural 20, Alatar, or not Alatar, Adosan, you get that they usually indenture people, if you know what I mean. They take criminals and they basically volunteer to pay their bounty as long as they are basically enslaved to the college. Basically, is what the modern day equivalent would be. And they use those enslaved people to go into dangerous situations usually. And they just sort of throw them in the deep end, say, figure this out, and if you don't, then you're never going to be free, but if you do, then we'll take time off of your bounty, basically.
So Alison goes, no, not that. Aww. There was so much to eat there.
Yeah. It was suspended on a floating cloud, similar to what's in the plane of air. Apparently, from what she described, it sounds like the cloud that it was on, perhaps something happened to it to cause it to fall down, and the whole building just broke into pieces, and the books are everywhere. It's just a mess. Apparently, there's a few dead bodies in there. Perhaps there were people who were in the building at the time, and it just fell on them and killing them. It was suspended on a cloud about 100 feet above ground, solid ground. So when it fell, it just could have killed innumerable people, whoever was in there. There might have been some people who survived, but she didn't have time to explore the area for that less than minute time. So you're not sure.
That's a big shame that fell down. There's so much knowledge there.
Yeah. Apparently, based on your 23 or your natural 20, they had a network of teleporters that they could teleport people to basically anywhere in the world. They also had lifted restrictions that other countries would have for racial tensions, that sort of thing. They allowed giants. They allowed people of usually evil races to come there, as long as they pledged to not destroy everything in there and just seek knowledge genuinely. So anybody was welcome. It seemed like a pretty good place, other than the fact that they would basically force people to do their dirty work. But other than that, it was just a place of learning. People can go there to access information as long as they could get there, obviously. But again, just a genuinely good place just destroyed.
Well, I guess better luck next time for them.
Before you have time to relay any of that information, I start thinking about what the chroniclers can be. And as I do, I start leaning against the table and it catches fire. I'm caught a bit by surprise by it, and I touch one of the chairs as I move back from the fire, and that catches fire as well.
So Elsa sees this happen and goes like, since when are you flammable?
Well, I'm not burning, the table is burning. I don't know why.
Seems like you're the cause.
Oh, I get it. The Chronicles must have been some sort of fire cult. Fire.
No.
It makes sense.
No. No. You're wrong. I think your magic is playing again.
Well, that's also a possibility, but I think the first one is more likely.
No, I think the second one is more likely.
Basically, he now has the Midas touch, except for gold happening. It's fire happening. I think.
Yeah.
I think that's the effect.
Yeah, for the next minute, anything I touch catches fire.
Too bad there aren't any enemies nearby.
Would have been handy before.
But either way, there's now a small fire happening in the garbage heap.
Howler, stop setting things on fire!
Well, I can try put it out, and I find like some sort of cloth to take it out, but that catches fire as well, and it gets worse.
I told you it's your magic.
I'm not using magic, it's a towel.
I told you your magic is playing up, so don't touch anything and just sit in the corner.
I don't see how sitting in the corner is gonna help.
Because you're not touching anything then.
As you guys are arguing, there's a small bonfire starting to develop in the garbage pile.
I start kicking sand, or wait, there's no sand. I start
No.
throwing things on it to douse it, take away the oxygen.
You know that mostly anything that's in this room is flammable, right?
Yeah, but if we get rid of the oxygen, maybe.
No.
I have a cloak. I'm gonna try to smother it.
Okay, that's possible, but I think you better can just chop up the table, chop up the chair, and let it just burn controllably.
As she's trying to hit this huge bonfire at this point, fruitlessly with her cloak, it's not fixing anything. Basically, imagine like a 70-foot by 70-foot room. One wall is completely covered in garbage. That goes out about 20 feet from the wall, and it's just a semi-circle type pile. It's a quarter of a sphere type pile, and it's just lighting up the whole thing.
I think we should head back upstairs.
I think we shouldn't die. Yes, let's head back upstairs.
Alright. So, you start heading up, and at this
If we
point...
ignore the fire, everything will be fine. Don't worry. I've done
How
this
is the
before.
fire?
Alright, so you start heading up the stairs, and it's like you're in a skyscraper that has a floor on it that's burning. You're going on to the next floor, and there's still smoke and whatnot coming up into this floor.
Christ.
Oh,
Okay, I
but-
go back down to try to smother it.
Yeah, just what I said before they go. Arizon is just gonna try and put it out just by chopping up every piece of things and just trying to break it apart.
You're basically swinging at flaming objects, so I'm gonna need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay, Constitution saving throw.
You were headed back down again then, Lily.
Yeah, she was.
17.
Yeah, I would probably follow you then.
17.
Alright. As you start swinging at this flaming pile of garbage, what are you using?
My hand axe. That's the only thing that really can chop. I do have a small hammer, but that's about it.
Alright, so you start swinging with your hand axe, and the blade of it starts heating up. It starts becoming almost red hot. And the handle of it starts getting so hot that you're barely able to hold it. You're able to continue to hold it, but you still take damage.
Yeah, as soon as the blade starts getting hot, Arizona is like, let's not continue with that. Let's
But
see.
you still
Do I
take
have
damage as that happens. So give me a minute.
Okay. Then he is going to firebolt it, trying to let it like explode into tiny pieces.
Let's add more fire. It's the best idea.
Alright, you took 12 damage
Ouch!
as your axe heated up, but you didn't drop it. Whoops, I rolled twice, but it's just the first one. You didn't drop it. You can just take it away from the fire and just sort
Yeah,
of...
which I already did, and then I'm gonna try and shoot pieces off with firebolt, like zap off, zap off, zap off.
Alright, you go like that. It seems like the firebolt just slightly moves whatever object you hit and just causes more fire to happen.
As would be expected from a firebolt.
Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna shoot it.
Okay.
Good fire.
No,
So
not with fire,
Lily,
just my
you come
gun.
back down the stairs as you witness him putting more fire on the fire, and then he just takes out his gun as you're coming down the steps.
Oh wait, we're resetting more fire to this. I'm a
I
bit
take out my
confused.
gun to blow it up.
What are you doing? This whole place is gonna be on fire!
You know we're in a stone building, right?
There's
Stone,
one thing that catch fire!
stone burns really, really hard, right?
Is there anything flammable along the surface on the stairs?
The stairs are made of a very
Yeah, but there's no like
thin...
banner or anything hanging next to one of the walls.
It seems like the only other things that were left, the creature that you guys encountered, seemed to have packed all this garbage in this area. But there's nothing else on the walls or anything. Like, it even took tapestries off the walls to add to the pile, which is why it's probably part of the reason why it's going up so easily. Like cloths and leathers and woods. So the cloths are probably heating things up quite quickly. As soon as they caught, then it started going up, all of it.
If you guys
But-
wanted to, I know some ice magic.
You tell us now.
Well, I just thought it might come in handy. I don't know.
Just do it then already.
Can
Wait.
you do this now, please? I don't want to die in fire!
I don't think you'll
Wait.
die, but
Are
I'll
you
do
sure you
it.
can
Okay.
do that while your touch turns everything on fire?
So here's what happens. I bring out my crystal ball and it starts glowing red hot. And then I channel my hand through the magic and a bunch of steam rises from it. And I shoot out a blast of cold. That's a first level. Let's see how much damage it does.
All right, go ahead.
And it's with advantage because, of course, I'm using Chaos Tide.
To make this worse. Okay, so 19. It hits a stationary pile of garbage that's on fire.
That's 10 cold damage.
All right. You see that some of it starts to diminish.
Oh, come on!
All right. So here's what happens.
So Arthur just clings to his robot knowing that something might happen.
Everybody begins to levitate above the ground again. And then you hear. And suddenly, you are. Let's see.
Please on fire, please on fire, please on fire!
I'm gonna roll
Please stay wild!
a D5 for now.
If you get back on the same location, then thank God.
This thing that he just used, it's impossible for you to return to the same location that you currently are.
Okay, that's a bummer. So now we're adept to Jin?
We're not in depth to him. We just said we'll handle something. We did handle this thing.
All right.
Yeah, but not
So,
completely.
the worst possible thing to happen right now. So, great.
Shadowfell.
You don't know yet.
That's the worst possible thing I can think of.
I mean, I'm sure the Abyss would be a bit worse than the Shadowfell, but
let me just whisper into your ear. There's a lot worse things that you could be encountering than the Shadowfell. Such as what you're going to encounter right now. So suddenly you just, and you are standing on what looks like a 20-foot by 20-foot rock in the middle of flames. That's all you see. It's flames all around you.
To go off and says, I hate you at times. I so much hate you at times.
Well, if I believe I managed to put out the flames in the other castle, and
don't make me tempting to push you in the fires that are around us.
You saw the cold emanate from you, and then you teleported.
So I'm assuming it worked because that's why we teleported.
So also just watches him and says, don't tempt me to push you in the fires that are around us currently.
Suddenly, you look around you and you witness as the flames start to lick up the side of this rock that you are currently standing on. That it's almost acting like water. The flames are so plentiful. And the rock seems to be floating on nothing. The flames just billowing beneath it. You're not sure where you are.
So I rush Gorath, can you perhaps do that again and perhaps teleport us back?
I can try, and I do the same thing. I shoot a blast of cold down at the fire.
Okay.
With wild search, please.
Yeah, are you using your wild search as you do?
Using wild search.
Okay. So, roll with advantage, just to see what happens to the flames as you do this.
14 if that hits.
That hits a huge sea of flame.
17 cold damage to it.
Alright. The flames that were licking up the side of the rock suddenly just are extinguished for about half a second.
And the wild search, 6.
He had a 1 in 100 chance of teleporting you anywhere else, let alone back to where you were.
Yep.
So 6. What's 6?
So I grow 8 inches. So I grow even larger than before because I already grew a couple of times.
So what was your base height before you started growing?
I was 6 feet tall. Now I'm 6 feet and 16 inches. I haven't converted it.
6 feet and 16 inches, so that means 7 feet.
2.
Yeah.
Wait. Yeah. 7'4". Gee.
7.4.
Yeah. You are now 7 feet 4 inches, which is the upper end of a medium size creature.
He plays basketball.
And his proportions grow as well whenever this happens. So,
is there any other? Is there any other piece of land that we're in the close vicinity?
make a perception check.
Oh, I so hate you now.
Ooh, not bad.
22.
You see one about half a mile away from your current position. A very tiny landmass that.
So Arsa just turns to Gorf. Do you have any way to move this disc towards that direction?
I mean, that's very unlikely, but so this. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to cast a fly on this rock we're standing on.
No, 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 no.
Give it a try.
I try. It's probably not gonna work, but here we go. That's the text. It's up
Okay.
to you.
God.
You touch the ground. What level do you cast it at?
The highest, so third. That's third level spell. I'm out of spell slots almost.
Okay, so third level. So how many creatures does that allow for third
One.
level? Just one? Okay, I'm going to roll a d4. You probably know what's going to happen now that I mentioned that.
God, why?
All
One
right.
is typically bad, so we'll see.
Aro-san, you suddenly begin to float above the rock.
Why me?
See, I knew that would be the worst. So you are able to control it, but the first couple seconds of you didn't realize that he was going to do this, so you start floating above the rock.
So how long does this last?
It lasts
10
up
minutes,
to
I can
10
see, but
minutes.
this time in character, so Erzel just floating around and says, how long does this last?
It lasts for a while. It should be enough to get you across.
I want time!
Well, I typically end it before it ends, so I'm not really sure.
Gosh darn it. Lily!
Hey, what's up? Other than you!
I'm gonna carry you over towards that very island a mile away from us, hoping that the flight spell doesn't end in 10 minutes before we reach that place.
Okay, let's go! Oh my god.
All right.
I've never actually used that for 10 minutes. It's always ended earlier.
Is this levitate where we go straight up?
It's flight. He can fly however he wants.
Yeah, he can
okay.
control his flight. So he's going to try to pick you up. It's a heavily armored halfling. You're not that strong. Make a strength check.
You know what? I'm actually letting her on my back.
Alright? Make a strength check. Somebody's got pounding in the background, just so you're aware.
Nope.
You try to pick her up, and you do, and she goes onto your back, and you succeed in that. But as you try to fly away, you can't lift off the ground.
So,
Oh yeah, it's only meant for one person.
nope, this is not gonna work. We're trapped here. Great.
Why don't you just go try to fly and then see if you don't die, and then if you don't die, I can go next. Yay!
How about no?
I mean, that sounds like a good idea, though.
I'm smart.
Really?
Okay. Emerson starts taking apart. DT starts stuffing him into his bag of holding and then flies towards his land.
Why don't I hold on to you?
You know that's gonna take time, right?
Yeah, how long are you going to spend
Oh,
taking DT
God.
apart?
Well, I do need DT to take him with me. I'm not gonna abandon him.
Well, how long are you going to do this for?
Oh gosh, I'm not gonna abandon him.
Are you going to dismantle him entirely? Because that's going to take way longer than what you have.
Oh gosh.
I can only do
Sladdy,
this.
how light can you get?
How light I can get?
Yes.
I mean, I feel quite. I think I'm heavier than I used to be.
Can you become a mouse or something like that?
Yeah,
I've
every
seen
time
you
that you've been
take-
growing, you've been adding weight. Because your proportions didn't change. You're just taller.
I've seen you change shape before, so can you become smaller?
I'm gonna attempt to become smaller with disguise self to just go a little bit shorter. I can't get too much shorter really, but disguise self spell, which means he can no longer fly.
Alright, so
Since you asked me.
Nope.
as he casts that
Disguise
spell...
self is not a concentration spell, so
Oh, it's not concentration. Okay,
Nope.
I thought that was concentration. Never mind that.
No, it doesn't look like. So... You are suddenly... What?
Yeah, I've become. Yeah, let's say. I try to mimic DT's form, just smaller. As small as I can get, basically.
So you can be 1 foot shorter or taller. So you
I'm
are
1 foot
currently
shorter.
DT is on the
6
tall
foot
side.
4.
Okay, then you have a problem because DT is large.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I
you
still look
become
like
actually
him.
larger then.
He has the same proportions, except smaller.
You know, that's not gonna work.
He can only change 1 foot taller or smaller. So,
Okay, so I'm gonna try and pick you up.
alright, make a strength check.
Also, this does not actually affect my weight. It's just an
11.
illusion.
Yeah, it's true. It doesn't.
I'm
this is just
informing
an
you of
illusion.
that like after I already wasted the spell.
Yeah.
11.
So, you don't get him off the ground. You sort of go under his arms and you try to lift him, but even the flight spell isn't lifting you high enough, and your strength to lift him isn't strong enough.
As I
Okay,
mentioned
last
earlier,
Madman
it's
ID.
meant for one person.
One last Madman ID. You two get it. You three get into my bag of holding and hold your breath for a very long time while I fly over towards that piece, then let you out there, and then I fly back to DT, trying to get him over somehow.
Why do you want me to die?
Yeah, I don't think
No.
that's a good idea.
That's the only way that I can carry you around.
Alatar at this point just gets on the ground, crosses his legs, and gets into a meditative position. That's the only thing he can do. That's the only thing he can do.
Ersa just watches him and just fireballs right in front of him, not hitting him, just to scare him.
He opens one of his eyes and he says, "I'm contacting my patron. See if he can help us."
Maybe that book of you can...
I mean, I could try to teleport us again. I have a few more tries.
So Arisa just realizes something that, as he says patron, and says, "The book!"
He's not listening to you. So Alatar is going into his trance.
So
I'm
Elsa
offering
just
you to-
flies at him and trying to get the book from him.
Does he have the book? Who has the book? Isn't it?
Alatar has the book.
Well, he's in his trance, so he currently cannot see or hear you.
So Elsa just flies at him, trying to get the book from him.
I just
Okay, you fly towards him. You can fly towards him.
Yeah. And he just snatches the book and starts flipping through the pages, something that seems similar to a portal. He can read Sullivan, and, well, he can read these languages. Let's just make it easy.
Alright. Which book is it specifically that you're looking for?
Well, the one that's made from leaves. The one that's obviously the one that, that's from very old Sullivan.
Alright.
Is it in his inventory? Because I don't remember who got it.
Arson had it on himself, but he gave it to Alatar.
I'm looking in his inventory, and either he forgot to write it, or he doesn't have it.
He probably forgot to write it.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
Well, he even wrote something that he supposedly had in his vision, which he currently doesn't have anymore.
James, you're
So-
fired.
Alright. So, he also has a broken gun as you're looking through his inventory.
Just yoink it! Mine now!
Well,
But
he's
you
in a
really
trance at the
shouldn't
moment.
be stealing all of his stuff. That doesn't seem right.
Well, he's not using it, and so I can use it, I can fix it.
I
Well,
don't
then you
remember
at
what
least
type
should-
of gun it is, though, and he
It's a
didn't write that
pistol.
down.
It's a
Pistol? Oh,
You
Well,
should
give
belong
ours-
to,
Well, gives Arson an excuse to experiment more.
so it's a single barrel pistol.
Yeah, I know.
Simple pistol.
Yeah, he just puts it into the bag of holding, then takes the book and starts flipping straight to it, trying to find the page that resembles something of a portal of, like, shifting planes or anything.
Alright, make an investigation check. Actually at disadvantage.
Oh boy. 10.
Because you
Wait,
don't understand
wait.
the language in the book.
I do! Excuse me!
Yes, but
Yeah,
this
but
is
it's
a
not normal
form of
Sylvan.
Sylvan that isn't used anymore. So you don't understand it.
Well, I do understand parts, but not everything.
Yeah,
Which is why it's
you
at
have this
disadvantage.
Okay.
Which is why I'm allowing you to roll it all. If you didn't understand it, I wouldn't allow you to read it at all. Yeah. You see a picture of one, but you don't understand the phrases or the passage near it. And as that's happening, as you're reading through this book, Goroth and Lily, I need you both to make perception checks.
Okay, sure. Perception.
11.
I also swapped around some spells, so I have more sorcery points. Or that's persuasion. That's not perception. -1. That's better.
All right, Lily, you notice something strange in the fire beneath you. You see something arcing over the fire, and it seems to be stationary. Not stationary. It's moving, but it's not like flickering around like the rest of the flames. It's sort of static in form. And it's sort of curved up like a half moon shape, sort of. And it's red in color. You barely saw it for a second, and then more flames came up, kind of like a gout of flame appeared, and then you didn't see it anymore.
Because the thing happened downstairs!
What?
So we see it as well.
Yeah.
You have a look in the
Your
direction.
persuasion is very good at it. You tried to persuade it to come out. Yeah, that's a real good idea.
Well, he persuades his perception to work, and it didn't work. Apparently. You look in the direction where she points. You don't see it. You just see more flame.
Where is it? I don't see it.
It's gone now, but it was there a few seconds ago.
Huh.
If this is a lava fish like that airfish, you're
Excuse me,
officially
are
on
there
my
any
hate
elements
list.
up there? I shout out in the flames.
What did you say into the flames?
I shouted out into the flames. Excuse me, are there any elements out there?
No answer, but I'll get you to make another perception check.
Another perception.
As you're looking for something to see if it reacts.
Nice.
That's
Yeah,
a lot better.
that's a lot better. That's a natural 18.
You see what looks like a half-moon shaped, crescent moon type shape sticking above some of the flames in the distance, and it seems to be moving back and forth towards you in a zigzag type pattern.
I focus on that and try to shoot it a message. Excuse me. My name is Gorath. We seem to be in some sort of predicament. Would you be able to assist us?
The only response you get is die as it approaches the rock much quicker at this point.
I think it wants to kill us.
And as
So
you say
our
that,
son just watched him. You just had to do it, didn't you?
all
Do
right.
what?
As that happens, as he says, I think it wants to kill us. I need you to roll initiative, everybody. And I'm just gonna try again to just click this thing. No, I have to manually add it, and then actually, this thing just appeared in front of me. Oh, I can make random pictures tokens for people.
You can, yeah.
But anyway, that's not helpful. So I'm just gonna go boop.
Back again.
Yeah. Since he's there, and I don't want to have to pull something else up. So, get out of that for a minute. I need my dice roller. Here it is. So,
Just when you prepared for the City of Air, I fucked everything over.
Yes, we were so happy there. You just had to mess it up.
All right.
This should be expected from a wild mage.
He got an 18. I put that in there so that way your backstory would make sense, not to ruin everything else. Oh well. Things happen.
It's gonna be my most rolled surge, by the way. I'm calling it now.
I assume so.
The hate is strong in this one.
Alright, so, Adolsan, you glance over to what, after he says, I think it's going to kill us, you sort of glance over and you witness this thing. The most analogous thing that I can compare it to is those guys, you're those guys on the boat from Jaws, and Jaws is approaching your boat.
Oh God.
So Amazon just watches Gorath and just mouths the word, I hate you.
Alright, is that your turn, or are you going to do something else?
He gets up, aims his gun, which he does have loaded, and does this. A 10.
10 misses. It's moving a lot quicker than you might have thought, and your shot goes wide.
And then bonus action to reload 1 shell.
Alright.
And that's all I can. Well, I do have 1 more action.
You have 2 actions?
No, I mean bonus action.
Okay.
To hell with it. This is the first time I'm gonna use it.
Okay. Go ahead.
Magic weapon on my thunder cannon.
Touch a non-magical weapon.
It's basically a +1 weapon.
Okay. It's a +1 enchantment, and if he casts it at higher levels, then it gets higher enchantments. Fair enough. So, this is a level 2 spell. So you're casting it at level 2. So mark off your level 2.
I did.
Alright. It's done. So I guess it's your turn. Enemy turn. I forgot about Alatar. Forgot. Actually, he's in a trance, so I'll say that I didn't forget about him. So
yes, we're even more screwed. Thanks.
Yes. Enemy turn. You see the half crescent moon-like slice coming above the and it's very reminiscent of a I think it's a dorsal fin of a shark cutting through water as it's approaching, which is why I made the analogy to Jaws.
You just had to summon another fish. You just had to summon another fish.
All right, and
I didn't summon it. I mean, you wanted me to put out the fire, so you made us teleport again. I felt endangered.
All right. So, here's what it does. The creature. It approaches the rock, and just as it gets within range of the rock, you feel the rock begin to tilt slightly. And I need you guys to make dexterity saving throws. Unfortunately, Alatar cannot make one. So he is sliding off the rock.
I used Tides of Chaos to get advantage on the saving throw.
Let's see. Oh,
90.
no, you didn't teleport to a different dimension to save you.
Maybe I did something better. We'll see. Okay, that's not gonna do anything because all plant life around us dies. I'm pretty sure it's all dead from before.
Yeah, so I hope you can do this, and that's grab onto Alatar.
All right, just a second. As he got that wild surge, you witness as that other rock that was above the fire slowly sinks below the fire.
I also just watched it. I also just keeps watching how.
Isn't it?
It was a mile away. Yes.
It's a mile now. I'll just change it. Mile.
What did
if
you
that's
have
fine, because it was originally 100 feet, but mile seems fair.
Okay. Yeah, so you witness as the rock begins to slowly sink below because it was suspended by some sort of plant.
So,
fortunately for you, this one is not sinking, but it is tilted.
Tilting. God damn it.
Everyone saved except Alatar, who is currently sliding, and that's what we were going to get to. Did you add DT to the list?
I did.
Okay, so on his turn, he will be able to do that since Alatar couldn't roll. His initiative is automatically 0. So,
oh boy.
But he wakes up now, right? Or
no, he does not.
Okay.
He's in a trance.
His Patreon will save us. Great plan.
Somehow. Yes, somehow. That's the whole reason he did this.
Did you know fake creatures are water elementals?
Apparently. Maybe he could summon one. You never know. So, Goroth, the rock is currently listing to the side as you see the dorsal fin on one of the sides of the rock, and it is currently listing to the side. Apparently, there's something underneath the fire that is currently pushing what you're currently standing on.
Okay, this is not good, and I don't have a lot to do, so I'm just gonna shoot a first level spell with cold damage.
Okay.
So this time I just take the crystal ball and I place it in top of the staff where the vines around wrap around it, and from it I'll shoot a blast of cold.
All right. Fair.
Advantage.
It's honestly probably a good idea.
That way I won't be afraid to drop it.
Okay. 22 hits.
And that's
20 damage.
That's pretty good. Cold.
And I assume you're using your tides.
Of course I'm using tides.
Let's see if this even matters.
88. I say, yeah, I don't have a shadow anymore.
Okay. So you guys can make a
3 days.
perception check to see if you see that.
Okay, let's see. Perception.
No.
I doesn't notice it.
Erosan actually does, but Lily does not. You look, and the flames that were casting myriad shadows all over the rock, his are suddenly gone.
I also just watches him. Get your magic fixed.
Well, I'm trying. I shoot out the blast of cold. And I
Get
look around,
your
not noticing my
magic
shadow is gone.
fixed. They say I'm mad. You're the one with broken magic.
Alright, and as that happens, a bit of fire actually extinguishes around the area where that creature is, and you can see what looks like a weird-looking floating troll type thing. It has no legs. It has flames coming out of the bottom of its body to float, and it has these weird long fingers and extremely skinny arms, and it has this little dorsal fin that it looks like on its head, and it has a very, very bulbous large head. It's a very strange creature, and it looks up at you and it goes and it reaches up towards the top of the rock and continues to try to push it, but it doesn't do anything because it's not its turn.
Okay, that's my turn. So it's DT.
DT
Right,
tries to get
DT.
Alatar.
Alatar is currently sliding, so it is, I'm going to say a dexterity saving throw to see if you save him. See if your robot is dexterous enough to grab him.
It is.
22. Yes, you managed to grab him before he slides off, and he's still in a meditative trance.
So DT just holds him close and doesn't know what to do. It is. Where's the creature? Can he punch it?
It is currently on the other side of the rock. The rock is listing at a 30-degree angle, approximately, compared to flat. So it's sort of like this. And you can see, DT can see its fingers grabbing onto the rock at this point and pushing it over.
Since the DT didn't have any chance to be modified yet, it still has its old stats. So yeah, he's going to try and climb up to it and punch its fingers like real hard.
Alright, roll to hit.
Not one and break the rock.
That might just happen.
Boy. Fisticuffs. Don't fail me now. 19.
19 hits the creature for 21. Unfortunately, you don't hit its fingers. He sort of slides down a little bit too far and actually punches it right in the head. So...
Also, how damaged did it seem to be by the cold? Was it like...
It seemed like the bottom part of it that was holding it up sort of diminished a little bit once it got hit, but then flamed back up to prevent it from falling. So.
Okay.
you assume that it hurt. You could hurt it severely if you managed to put out that flame, but it did do a little bit more damage than normal. So 21. All right, it goes, and it continues pushing the rock.
Lily's turn.
That's all that DT can do.
All right, Lily's turn.
How far away from me is the creature's things?
Things.
The rock. How far away?
You're on the rock. Sorry.
How far away from me is the dorsal fin?
The dorsal fin. I'll say it's about 10 feet away from you. You have to climb the rock, which is difficult terrain.
Okay.
To get to.
All right. Shield of Faith on myself.
Sure.
Can you do Shield of Faith on the rock?
If it specifies creature, then unfortunately it's a creature.
Worth a try.
Yeah, target one creature.
Yeah. And it's a bonus action. All right.
So for your regular action.
Huh?
So for your regular action, what do you want to do?
Cool. I have a sling.
You also have that short bow.
Oh, I forgot. Let's do the short bow.
Which misses.
Boo.
You have 2 attacks.
Yeah, do you have 2 attacks?
Multi-attacks. She does.
Does that work for a ranged weapon? Because I thought it was only for melee.
No, it's ranged weapons as well. It's 2
all
attacks.
attacks.
Attack action. Yeah.
Yeah, picture Legolas. He can shoot 2 arrows very quickly.
Okay.
So that's basically what it is. 24 hits.
4.
For 4. At least you're contributing.
I'm paper cutting it.
You basically just barely graze the top of the dorsal fin.
I got its eyelashes.
It goes. It didn't like it, but
it's contest now.
All right, so we're back up to Adosan.
Arison is totally not happy. He's totally not happy this day, and he's now getting bullied by some kind of creature. So he's coming up to it and goes like, I'm having a very bad day. I will blow you the hell up if you don't drop this rock and leave us alone."
Thought we wanted the rock to stay.
Yeah, so drop it so it just leave us alone. He's just basically trying to intimidate it.
It goes.
I still believe you from dropping the rock.
It just screams at you.
Load another bullet and aim the gun straight at its face.
All right.
And give it a nice bit of dark strike. Yeah.
22 hits.
Boom.
All right. So, you
38.
had the +1, didn't you?
Yep.
Okay. Just making sure that you did. You took your advantages. So. Alright, it doesn't look too good. The creature. As you just hit it in the head, but it seems like it just, like if in real life you shot somebody in the head, you wouldn't expect them to keep going, but this creature is still going after it has a bullet between it on its forehead.
And I'm going to do the same as Lily.
Alright. Fair enough.
Giving
That
me
happens.
a bit more AC, so now I am at 19 AC.
Okay. So, creature turn. It is going to see that you didn't fall off the rock.
Heard it a lot.
Unfortunately, this rock is supernaturally being held up, so it can't just pull it down easily or flip it over because of how it's being held up. What's it gonna do? It's not looking too good after a very short amount of time, so here's what it's gonna do. It's going to let go of the rock, and it's going to attempt to dive under the flames. Now, anybody who's within melee range, which means Lily is not, because
Could I have been? Or
you could have been. You were casting spells that weren't using rolls to hit, were they?
yeah, I was attacking with spells, but I could have moved closer. I mean, if it was
Yeah,
there.
you could have moved closer if you wanted to, I'll say.
Okay. Because in that case, I have the Warcaster feats that let me cast spells for attack of opportunities.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah. So I'll say you and Edo-san is not, because he's using a gun.
I was close up to its face, so...
Well, if you were using that, then you would have had to have rolled at disadvantage.
Which I already did.
Did you say that you were rolling at disadvantage?
I
Because I
didn't
said the 22 hit.
Oh, well, then scrap that then. Then it's just DT.
Alright. So, DT and Goroth, I'll say, are within melee range of it. So go ahead.
That's my other spell slot, the
17.
Chromatic Orb at the second level, because I'm out of first level. And now I'm out of second level. 10 cold.
So 17.
Alright, 17 just barely hits this creature.
So that's 20 damage to it. Plus 10 is
10
30
cold.
total.
Huh.
Alright, so Wild Surge, what did you get?
My
14.
spells are a bonus action instead of action, but I'm out of spells, pretty much.
Any cantrips?
Yeah, cantrips count.
Yeah.
So you could possibly use those. And you were hitting it with cold again? Just double check.
Cold.
Okay. So you see it as its flame begins to diminish so much that it falls like 20 feet, and then it starts flying away underneath the flame and vanishes within the flame.
Okay.
Alright. So I'll say that we're still in turn order if you want it. Goroth, you'd be up next if you want
Or
it.
can I still see it?
No, it is obscured by flame.
Okay, so is it obscured like I have disadvantage, or obscured like I can't see it at all?
You can't see it at all, which means you would have disadvantage to hit it.
Oh, okay. Now I get you. Because I was thinking like a smoke, but you can technically not see them, but yeah. So I can roll a disadvantage, basically.
Yeah. You saw the speed that it was moving at and everything, so you can try to approximate, but it's at disadvantage.
This is the last spell slot I have. I still have sorcery points, so I can make more, but yeah. I'm going to cast a third level of Chromatic Orb. Cold damage.
Alright, 27 definitely hits.
That's a bonus action.
Alright.
So 18 cold damage. One. Oh, I guess for the next minute I can roll on this table. So I have to roll 10 times, basically.
Alright.
That's not...
So you need to roll 10 what?
He has to roll 10 wild surges.
Please let one be 100.
At the start of my turn. It starts.
Alright, so, you hear it go. and it's still going.
Well,
Okay, do I
DT
have
can-
any?
You can
Well, I have-
use a spell as your action.
Oh yeah, I can use a cantrip as an action. That's true.
No bonus action because of Wild Surge 14 over as that spell effect ended by now.
No, but like I used, yeah, whatever. I
It
can
becomes equivalent to a bonus action, but he can also use it as an action.
So yeah, I'll just shoot him a message and say, so you can come back here if you want us to extinguish that flame of yours.
Okay.
Because I have a firebolt that can shoot at him. Otherwise, I have to touch him.
All right. You hear the voice say, "Hurts! Why?" In your
Yeah,
mind.
I can't respond, so not until the next turn.
And DT,
DT.
it's out of range. I assume he only has physical melee attacks.
Yeah, it's up close and personal.
So it's off the rock, unless if you want him to jump into the flames.
Well, I guess he will sink and get destroyed.
It's up to you.
No, he won't. Because he will protect Creator, and he knows Creator can't swim in lava, so no, he won't go into lava.
Okay. Lily.
Will you jump into the flames?
You also have a
You're
distance
muted.
weapon that you can use, and that's true.
I also have a what?
A distance weapon you can use, so you can try to snipe it before it gets too far away.
Right. Well, I think that's what I'm going to do.
Don't use the bow for obvious reasons.
It's
She
either
used
that
the bow.
or the sling.
She
The bow is
used the
fine.
bow. If I assume that the bow is fine.
Yeah.
Okay, I want you to think real hard. An arrow is made of wood. What does wood with lava? It burns.
Or the
It's not
sling.
law, it's fire, and we're on a
The
rock that's
sling,
not on
it
fire.
throws a rock.
The tip of the arrow is still rock.
No,
Oh,
that's
plus
more
you're
for
rolling at
metal.
disadvantage.
Oh, my bad.
So,
Oops, wrong one. Well, it's not better anyway.
yeah. So, it goes wide.
All right, second attack. 15.
Let's see.
No.
15, if I remember. I don't think that hits now. So it goes
Oh.
wide.
I spit on it. I mean, I don't, but I spit in its general direction.
You pull a Monty Python bit.
Yeah.
Alright, so, and as the spit goes towards it, it goes into the fire and immediately evaporates.
Load last bullet and take aim and fire.
Disadvantage, because you can't see it.
10.
So 10 misses horribly.
Matt, are you having fun with this?
A little. Considering I didn't expect any of this. So, may as well have fun with it.
You're welcome.
And it was based on a random roll, too. You guys said that you didn't want fire, and so then I put it on the lowest roll, and that's what I got. So
You should have put it on the highest roll.
If it's the highest, we probably would have gone back to the material plane.
crap. Bullet misses.
So I also just coughs at it and just keep standing because the rock is hot.
Alright. The rock is returned back to its normal position, by the way, because it stopped holding.
Yeah.
So, enemy turn. You hear super far away. And if you still want to be in turn initiative, I'll keep it.
No.
But okay.
I don't, but if others want.
also is just not happy with it. He just wants to be sure that it doesn't come back later on.
It seems severely injured, and you know that creatures need to rest in order to recover.
Yeah,
So,
that's why.
You could hit it a couple of times. I mean, before it leaves your
And
500
Aroson's
range.
far range is 600 feet, so
yeah, you can still keep trying to shoot at it if you want.
yeah, it's not gonna escape anytime soon for Aroson.
You could basically do those stereotypical things where the guy goes ah and just shoots until his clip is empty. You
Yeah.
can do that if you want.
Well, Aroson needs to reload each and every time he fires, so
Well, go ahead. You can shoot it again, because everybody else is out of range.
one reload, fire.
All right, 21 hits.
It's dead. I think it's dead.
Well, we'll see.
43.
You hear, and that's it. You don't know because you didn't see it.
Just to be sure, Aroson is just gonna take another shot.
All right, go
He
ahead.
wants to be sure it's dead, not fake dead. 20.
Technically 18 because you can't see it, but that still hits.
Oh yeah, 18. 30.
You don't hear anything. You just hear bullet.
So
Even though
Aroson puts his gun away and then just sits by, then just climbs onto DT to like scope the area for another island that might be the mainland, and maybe we can see the city of Brass.
all
Perhaps
right.
I don't know what city there is in the. On what
You
page
don't know
was?
where you are technically. You don't know if you're on the plane of fire or just some place that's on fire.
Yeah, I mean, we could be on some other planes where things are on fire. So
what page was it
this
on
could be
again?
hell. Like this could be one of the layers in hell. Just so you know.
Yeah, but what page was the elemental? All the planes on?
You can look at that since your character is aware. So I'm not going to prevent you. It's page 57 in the DMG if you want to look at it.
57.
That big mosaic. This thing was a big inspiration for this world, if I haven't said it enough. So
What thing? Let me just check it out because I'm trying to find the chat since I am currently checking something else. Yes, I have many tabs. Okay, I'm currently
page 57.
Yeah,
in the DMG.
I'm currently looking at it myself as well.
Yeah, this
So while
picture was a huge inspiration for the world that I built. So
Okay.
So while you're looking at that, is Altair up or awake?
is Alatar awake?
Yeah.
He's still held by a giant by DT.
Yeah, he's still being held because DT hasn't been given a directive to let him go. Technically, he wasn't given a directive to grab him, but I'm saying that you could have done that, so
yeah,
I'll say that that's what happened. Because technically he needs ordered to do things unless if he has built-in protocol. So you would have to reprogram him in order to get him to protect these new people. I would say he slowly comes out of a daze and he's in DT's arms and he goes, "What happened?"
Well, he took your gun, then a fire element of some sort came.
He took my gun?
Yeah, the one that's broken.
Why did you do that?
Because you're not using it, and I can fix it.
Well, as long as you return it.
And you're gonna use it for what exactly?
Well, you know, channel magic through it. I don't know. I haven't thought it through yet.
So you'd have jackal of an idea what you can do with it.
Still is, though.
Well, I would rather have it for now until I... Well, you can keep it for now until it's fixed anyway. If it's broken, it's no use to me anyway.
Good.
Just to end the argument quicker.
So do you perhaps know where we are in the Sea of Fire? Or anywhere, because I guess we're in a plane of fire, thanks to our slutty friend.
You can make an Arcana check, or a Nature check. Either one.
Arcana.
Yeah, I will try this too, because I'm interested.
Oh no, I will do one. Damn it.
One.
Wow. You guys are completely unsure. However, Lily looks into it. Luckily for you. You guys are just like trying to discern if you can pick up a landmark or anything, and all you see is flames. Fortunately, though, for Lily, she starts looking around, and she looks down. She sees that there's just flame beneath you. There isn't lava. The lava, if you were on the plane of fire, if there were lava, you would be closer to the fountains of creation on that map, or the plane of magma, as they call it, also. Because that has more rock and fire mixed together, which would make magma. So this is just fire. So if you were on the plane of fire, you would be in the sea of fire, which is just fire everywhere and air that is buffeting it around to make the fire seem more like liquid-like, which is why it licks up like water almost.
Mentioning water, I just recalled. I have a decade of endless water.
Okay, how's that gonna help you? At
You
least
just empty it
you
over
won't
the
die
sea.
from dehydration, I guess.
I'm just gonna keep pouring. I'm just gonna slowly make a way for us to get through this stuff.
You
Wait,
can try that.
better idea. Can I try and can I use? Let's see, what does it all? I can use the geyser ability of the decad and like maybe
First
propel.
off, you say anything of that to us, because you're the one who knows this information, not us.
Yeah, you know that you have this item, but they don't.
Yeah, I was talking about the information about we're on the plane of fire, most likely the fire scene, because
Yes.
Lily was the one that figured that out.
Yes, if you are on the plane of fire, that is where you would be. But if you're elsewhere, you're not sure, but it's very similar to what descriptions would be of the plane of fire if it's not. So it could just be a place that's connected to the plane of fire, but it could also be the plane of fire, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I was just wondering if Lily shared the information, because both of us got net once.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. So she shares that basic book heavy information type, no flowery words, just that's what it could be.
So Aristotle just whips out a decad and aims it to one side of the rock and says, "Hold on," and he says, "Geyser." And I'm just basically trying to make a tiny speedboat out of this rock.
Alright, so do you have a description of the item? Because I'd like to have a look at it just to see what the effects of the geyser would be.
Sure, just give me a moment. I will just oh wait, I even have a link for you towards it, as I always do.
Alright.
Here you go.
Alright, just give me a second, guys, because I didn't even realize he had this item. Is this one of your enchanted items that you chose?
No, one of the items I could pick, but also one of the enchanted items I could can make, but this is the one I picked from the ones you said I could pick.
Okay. Yeah, it's an uncommon magical item. That's fine. Okay, stream. Geyser produces 30 gallons of water. It's a flask, so it's not that big. Bonus action. Okay, so it shoots with a relative amount of strength. Because it does 1d4 bludgeoning damage and can knock enemies prone. You can target an object that isn't being worn or carried that weighs no more than 200 pounds and knock it over. Or 15 feet away. So, let's see. That's quite a bit of force to knock over something that's 200 pounds.
Yeah, move it 15 feet away.
Okay, so I'm just trying to figure out how much force you're using, stuff like that. See how that might affect the situation. So, I need you first to make a dexterity saving throw.
Boop. 20.
Alright, so you managed to keep yourself steady on the rock, so that way you don't knock yourself backwards into the fire, because that might have been bad.
Yeah, it would.
So you managed to keep yourself steady enough as a sudden burst of energy and water. What happens is the rock begins to move like a surfboard or a wave board, whatever those ones are that get dragged behind speedboats. I forget the name of them. But anyway, it starts moving like that, skipping across the fire. And it leaves a trail of steam behind you. It doesn't extinguish the fire. It seems like it's much more hot and eternal than a little bit of water would be able to extinguish. And
question is, which way are we going? Cause
I don't know. You just said that you did that while pointing it at one edge.
yeah, so I'm just guessing we're going one way, and we will see which way we're going. Because we have no landmarks, we have nothing. We just are in a sea of fire.
Roll a d8 for direction. That's fine.
I suppose you could do that if you want. Though, technically, I'll say that north, east, south, west have very little meaning on these planes. So, but rolling a d8 might help me decide which way you're going. So go ahead, you can do that.
8.
Alright, so I'm going to say since it was the highest number, it's going to be the most in your favor as possible. Though you are in the middle of a huge area of fire, so whether or not that's entirely helpful or not, you're going to see in a minute. So,
while he's doing that, what did he say? Because I asked him what he found out, Altar, about his patron.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll say that a couple seconds before Edo-san activates his geyser, I'll say that he answers a little bit, and then perhaps if he talks too long or you ask him more questions, then it might go into that. But before that happened, he goes, my patron is going to do something to help, but I don't know what. He says that he wanted to contact me later on, but he's saying that it's getting a little confusing, me jumping all over the place. It's harder for him to figure out how to send messages to me.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. It sort of happens.
Well, I wish we were still helping those bird people and not stuck on this fire, but take what we have, I guess.
We'll come back there at some point, I'm sure.
Hopefully. So, we'll see how this goes.
Also, before we left the plane of air, he were, because we allowed him to like send messages to us, right? So we could respond to those. If he wonders where we went, like he could do that, then we could respond.
Alistair says it might be easier for him to do that if he knows where we are.
Oh yeah, that's true.
He sort of just smiles at you frustratedly. And as that happens, that's when it activates. So you guys start moving speedily across this flame landscape, if you will. So you guys move. What are you guys looking for? Obviously anything that you can land on, but are you looking for anything else specifically?
Well, I'm just looking at the entire plane, trying to figure this out. Like seeing the sights. I've been to the plane of air, I've been to limbo, I've been to the material plane. This is great.
We're traveling the planes. It's a beautiful thing.
Yes, it is.
So, I assume that Aro-san might be looking for something specific.
Any land, most likely. So that's probably where
here?
he's going. Oh, so he just gonna keep driving until he finds land.
Oh, he's not here. That's why he's not answering. I was like, answer? But he wasn't there. I wasn't on the screen to see if he was there or not. So, apparently he's not there. So, landmarks, anything. Alright, let's see. Based on that 8 was direction. Now it's perception on his part to see what he sees.
Yeah, I'll have to roll for him.
That's what I'm currently trying to do. Perception. He got an 8. No, he doesn't see anything helpful, and the speed of this thing at this point is very slow. But it is still moving, you can tell. Because it seems like the gouts of fire that are creating this landscape of fire, if you will. It seems like there are sources of fire that are coming from beneath, and you can tell when you move past them, sort of.
Is it possible to lay down and try to sleep while this is happening, or not?
Yes, you can. You are on a rock that is 20 feet by 20 feet. So technically you guys could all rest in a square, a 5-foot square in the middle, so that way you don't get harmed if you want.
I will go ahead and start doing that. Because I have no spells.
Fair enough.
Or then sorcery points that I can make spells, but yeah.
Alright, that is started. Lily, anything that you want to be doing during this process?
No, it's basically the same thing. We need to land. Looking out.
So you're looking, so you can make a perception check.
Yeah. 5.
No. You are... I've revealed, based on the other roll, that you are going in an advantageous direction, but your characters don't really know that. And your characters don't see anything helpful.
Yeah.
So you assume that you're stuck here for at least a little while.
We're gonna live right past Paradise Island.
you have no food here, so you're basically depending on whatever food you guys have.
I have 10 Russians still. I haven't used them. Yeah.
All right. This is a sudden and very great contrast compared to what you were doing just a day ago, feasting with a djinn in his castle. You are now stranded in the middle of a
You
bunch
could call
of
us
fire.
well-traveled.
I would call us well traveled.
You're going a lot of places, but you're not seeing much of them.
Sure we are. We're seeing the sea of fire, the palace of the sky, the...
You're seeing little snippets of them, but either way. Is he back yet?
Look,
No.
the thing is, we're confusing the shadow. They have no idea where we are.
They have no idea where you are, which is good for them. Because if you're not near them, then they can just do whatever they want.
That doesn't count. It doesn't work that way. No.
You think it doesn't work that way, but it does.
Don't worry, I'll tell them just back when it matters.
Yeah, they only do things while you are present. That is the only time that they do things.
Yes. Glad we agreed on something here.
Alright, so... Yeah,
Keep driving.
Alatar is resting because he knows that his patron is going to do all that he can. And as a result, he's relatively calm. He's not going to worry about this because he knows his patron is powerful and he trusts him. So
Sorry for my sudden departure.
yes, just to catch you up, nothing has happened. You have no idea where you are. You don't see any landmarks. And
the rest of us are sleeping.
yes, and Alatar is resting, and so is Goroth. But I don't know about Lily. Lily has been looking.
Okay.
So Alasad walks up to her. What you doing?
I think you might be muted if you're talking.
Hello?
No, not you. Her.
Oh.
Just looking!
At what?
Nothing! Lava!
You're not looking at nothing, are you?
Lava's not nothing! But there's nothing! Lava!
Technically, there's no lava, so she's lying.
That's true.
Yeah. So Alasad just holds the flask over Lily's head. I have a lot of water in this.
I like water!
He turns it upside down, pointing at her, and says, "Fountain." That is 5 gallons of water all over you.
And it's pouring out of a flask, so it doesn't just take a little bit of time. It takes quite a while for 5 gallons to pour out of it.
She'll still scream dramatically like that.
Alright, fair enough.
Oh, I can even choose if it is fresh or salt water. And Arison is feeling especially salty, so it's salt water.
Yeah, so it smells like the sea is being poured on you.
Why would you do that? You're a horrible person! That's how I found all my cuts now!
Well, your cuts are at least clean.
Jeez.
Okay.
No, you don't.
A lot!
No, you don't.
More than you know!
Don't you? You don't at all.
More than life!
Nah.
Okay. You win this round! But next one, I will win the war! Yes!
So now Arison's a bit nicer. He's just still holding the flask above her and says, "Stream fresh water."
Yay!
But this time, it's just 1 gallon of water.
And he said fresh water, so it's you can actually drink this 1 gallon of water if you want.
Yeah, it's coming out at a slower pace than a fountain. So
Okay, I gargle it to get the salt water out of my mouth, and then I still yell at him, why would you do that?
because you need a bath, as we all do.
I'm not that smelly, you are!
I said we all do. Speaking of which, oh, Sladdy.
Trying to sleep over here. I can hear you yelling.
Erson I'm gonna see if Erson can sneak up to him.
You just yelled at me, so I'm pretty sure I'm looking your direction.
Yes, that's true.
Oh yeah, then Erson just moves over, holds up the flask. You're going for a bath.
Are you sure you wish to leave this plane so soon?
Yes, I do. And he just says, "Stream," and holds it over Groff.
Alright, water pours on you.
Sure, I banish him. I spend 6 of my sorcery points to get a 4th level spell and banish him.
Okay.
Just him and not DT?
Yeah,
No.
just you.
Yes,
Oh,
he can target a single creature if he wishes.
Bugger. So Erson is just standing there holding the decant,
Where is
looking
he?
around. Huh?
Where is he?
Here is where he is.
Oh boy.
Suddenly, it seems as though the water had an effect on this. Suddenly you just fall into an ocean. You can't see anything except water for miles. Either direction.
Is it warm?
Tropical temperatures. So, the air is warm, but the water is
So I can guess where I am.
colder. You sort of look around. Nothing but water.
So,
How long are you going to banish him for?
Less than a minute.
Okay. So you
So-
fall into the sea-like water. You can make a perception check to see if you see anything other than water.
yeah, perception. If I can see an island, then I at least know where I landed. 22.
You see a far distant, about maybe 2 miles away, swimming. You would have to go to get to this island. You see like what looks like a palm tree on the island. It's relatively barren.
So I could at the cloud-filled train, cause the blazing mount didn't have any palm trees. If I recall it
And
right.
the blazing mound is a lot hotter than the water that you're in.
Yeah.
You would be hurting if you were.
Oh yeah. So the windy seas. Okay. Well, time to get to the palms. And I just lay on my back in the water, aim the end towards my feet. So and then not have the geyser hit my feet, and just say, geyser, and I just start skidding over the water, I guess.
Yeah, so you're basically like a human version of one of those boards that goes behind the speedboat.
Yeah, or a skipping stone.
Yeah, basically. And then the minute is over, or 40 seconds, I'll say, before you summon him back. And then suddenly you are flying through the air. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw to see if you grab the rock before pulling it to the fire.
Oh no! Dad! 16!
You manage to grab the edge, but you're sort of hanging off the edge by one arm as the other one is shooting water everywhere like an uncontrollable hose with your other arm just flailing everywhere.
I could shoot you off next time. Big land is just water, not a hose.
Are you sure you want to go back so soon?
You are the cause of all of this.
Well, technically, it's when your robot grabbed me, but that we ended up in this whole situation.
Yeah, he was just going to get you out of the way for a moment so that I could do my thing.
That's not how I saw it.
Yeah, apparently, Miss Starfield threatened you quickly.
Alright, so eventually the gout of water coming from you that is turning to steam next to you due to the fact that you're hanging in fire. You might want to move quickly, otherwise
Yeah,
you will
I
start
start
to be
scrambling
on
up.
fire and then you will be burning.
Yeah, I was also scrambling up as quick as he can and then just sighs and looks around if he can see any landmark that I can go to, any landmarks that I can go to, knowing that there will be some kind of civilization.
You already made a perception check and you didn't see anything, but you can attempt to make another one at disadvantage.
Okay,
Because you haven't moved really that far from where you were.
Well,
Yeah, I'm
the
laying back
geyser
down.
did move us, right?
It did, but when you made the perception check, you had already moved a bunch, and it slowed down a lot.
So perception here goes. This at disadvantage. 11.
No, you look around, you don't see anything that looks like a land mass of any sort.
So Erson looks at all this and says, "Same direction." Okay, so
I'm just trying to
Erson,
sleep, so.
so Erson just tells DT to sit down, then sits in his lap, leans against him, and then aims in the same direction he pointed before. And then says geyser again, and off they go again.
Alright. Geyser, it is. And you start moving more.
Going to get home. We're going to get home. Going
And
to get home.
you do feel kind of like you're on an iceberg floating through the ocean, just looking
A
around
really,
and
really fast one.
yeah, you're moving it faster due to what you're doing, but you're just not seeing anything of note. You can make another perception check to see if you see anything.
Still
Can I make one as well?
disadvantage.
Yeah, anybody who is currently awake can
Okay.
do so.
Disadvantage or regular roll?
Regular, because you're in a new position.
6.
20.
Thank you.
You do see something, but it's not what you were expecting. It's not land, and it's not monsters either, which you might have expected to see. You see what looks like a... It looks similar to what Poseidon's chariot might look like, except it's fire instead of water-based. So you see flaming horses pulling what looks like a chariot made of brass across a flaming exterior or a flaming sea, kind of. Yeah, and it might be kind of like Apollo, except Apollo would be pulling the sun with him. The sun is basically like he's riding on the sun with how much flame there is. And there's a dude in there with red skin who's currently goading the horses on. So he's sort of like, yeah, yeah.
As he noticed the rocket just skipping by, leaving a steam trail behind it.
He's about a quarter mile away from you guys, and he seems to have a destination in mind.
All right, so I'm gonna yell at everybody. There's a guy and he's doing a thing
Where?
over there.
So
You see the
Erson,
chariot.
so Erson changes direction to follow that guy.
All right, so you start heading towards him. What do you want to do other than head towards him? Just head towards him?
Yeah, currently because I don't think we can contact him yet.
If they're shouting at me again, I'm gonna look what's here, and I'm gonna try to reach him with a message.
All right.
Or reach him telepathically.
Okay. You're still about a quarter mile away when he started pushing you into the other direction,
Yeah,
but
so
you
it's
can
probably out
start.
of range.
You can start trying to get to him.
Yeah.
I'll say.
Aren't you not gonna ask us what we want to ask him?
Why would I?
Because it might be a little bit important so that we don't get any for trouble.
He's gonna do his own thing unless if you talk to him.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
we don't know that he can message. Well, we actually do.
You do know. You do
Yeah.
know that
You
he can.
do.
So,
I've
Arizona
spoken to
looks-
your mind before.
Yeah, so Arizona looks at me and says, "Yeah, okay, you have to change PC system so soon. So before I do that, I will say this: can you ask him if where the nearest city is with a portal to another plane, perhaps?
I'm sure I can get that on the list somewhere.
Specifically, the plane of air, because I do want to fulfill my bargain. Well, debt with the Jinn. I know they're powerful.
How are we not adept to the Jinn? Like, we just
Because
said
we
we
promised
were...
something to him, and I do like to keep our promises.
What exactly did you promise to him then?
We promised to help him get the capital safe.
Well, we promised to look into it and help him out, but we already technically helped him out. And I mean, sometimes we just skip planes, so I'd say we don't owe him anything.
Well, I say we do, and I want to keep my end of the bargain.
He's right. We shouldn't lie.
That's strange coming from a thief, and I'm referring to our son.
I have no teeth.
I'm referring to the
Alatar.
gun and the book you just stole.
Yeah, Alatar in his half asleep state goes, "You're a thief," and then goes back to sleep.
I could just toss the gun straight in your face, and then you had your thing back. Second of all,
People.
Yeah.
because they're mean.
She also hurt people.
I
Seems like
have
you're the
you.
mean one to be.
Apparently, Lily is hugging Ado-san.
I just let her. Question: how is she doing that when Arson is holding literally the flask that's shooting a geyser?
She's hugging you from behind.
Where DT is.
Is this some Titanic stuff?
Yes.
It's pretty hard to do that because you need to squeeze between DT and Arison. Because
Well, DT knows not to harm her, so
Yeah.
he just lets her pass.
oh god. Well, this is new, but okay.
Plus, she can slip under people who are a size
Yeah.
bigger than her.
Yeah.
So she can just slip between his legs, and he doesn't harm her. He doesn't prevent her from hugging you.
Yeah. So
He
Arison
just
just
takes
like
in the situation and realizes that she's not trying to harm you, and then
yeah.
doesn't do anything.
So Arison goes like, well, this is new, and thanks for the hug. And he just keeps going after the guy in the brass chariot with the flaming horses.
All right. What's the range on your message?
120 feet.
So before we continue, I just say this: I will be switching PCs now, so I'll be right back.
Okay.
You can continue.
Yes. Which will happen.
Okay, so be right back.
All right. So you begin to get close to him. And as you're getting closer, you hear him going, "Hyah! Hyah! Hyah!" as he's using the reins to get the horses to move further. And I got your message, just so you know. So we'll continue as long as we can. He's getting the horses. He's using the reins to basically make a whipping motion, and it seems to hit the back of the horses to make them continuously go faster. The speed at which you are moving, since you are the magic of the area, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's as if you're on the surface of water based on the magic of this area. And somehow the rock is floating above it. Basically, when you switch planes, it doesn't automatically put you into a situation where you can't survive the immediate vicinity, so somehow it found a rock. So that's why you're able to survive. This rock is skidding across the top of this flame, like this magical flame, which is acting like water almost. You're approaching the thing, the guy. It's moving at about, what speed can horses usually move? About 40, usually?
Yeah, 40.
So I'm going to say that they're regular horses, though they're flaming horses, but they're regular flaming horses, okay? Yeah, the regular flaming ones. But either way, they are moving at about 40, and since he's constantly firing this geyser off every turn, I'm gonna say that since it's like a floating object on water, you're moving at quite a clip, so you're catching up to him. But it's taking a little bit of time to catch up to him still. And you get within 120 feet of him, so the message can be sent.
Do you have a moment? We're new to this plane. We would like to be able to ask you some questions.
He sort of glances around when he's hearing this voice in his head randomly. So he's going to glance around using his perception. I forgot to add a modifier, which he had a modifier, so it's over 17, so he sees you. So he glances back, and he puts down his reins, but the horses are still going, as he looks back at you, and he sort of leans back into the part where the reins are and everything. He's leaning back, looking at you. And he responds. He seems to understand that you're using some sort of telepathic means, and he's assuming that he can respond in kind. And he says, "Can't you see I'm kind of busy right now?"
It won't take long as I'm back to a new one. Perhaps we could even do some trade.
Well, I'm kind of headed somewhere. You're looking for a city, are you? Or somewhere that isn't a sea of fire?
That would be preferable.
Well, I assume that you're not like me. Is fine with the fire, so I guess that's a fine assumption to make. Neat contraption. What is that? And he sort of points towards Arosan, with the water shooting out of the back of this platform.
I tell him it's a rock. We found it when we came here. Referring to the big thing we're on. It's a rock. We found it when we came here.
Okay, a rock.
That's what I'm responding with.
That's what I was trying to get the information from. And he goes, maybe some magical person left it there and you managed to find it. How did you get here anyway? And he just sort of has a smile on his face.
Oh yeah, I've been traveling quite a lot recently. I was at Limbo the other day, then we went to the material plane actually. Have you been there?
It sounds like a nice enough place, but I'm more into fire, if you catch my drift.
Yeah, I heard there's some fiery places there as well. There's also, yeah, we also was at we were having a party with a genie yesterday. That was in the plane of air.
Do you care about this genie?
Oh, what does it matter?
I'm just interested.
He seemed like a nice enough fellow. We spent the day there, and then we shifted to another plane. Now we're at the fiery plane.
Well, how about this? You tell me where this genie is, and I'll take you back somewhere relatively safe.
I mean, that seems like a fair deal to me. It's in the plane of air.
Well, I caught that. Any particular landmarks I can look for? A place of residence?
Castle?
Wait. You're not talking about... He starts thinking. I forget his name, which is why he starts thinking. I'm looking up his name. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. Oh, and by the way, can you put the link in the Google Hangouts or even the Facebook chat? He's actually updating a list of NPCs, and if you want it, then he can send it to you.
Yeah, sure. There.
So I'm back.
Okay, you didn't miss anything that your character would have known. You're still approaching the Jin, which is Jin is the generic word for all of them, and it's obvious at this point. It's a red dude in a chariot of fire. He's an Ifriti, but he goes.
So I'm assuming I do not know that the Friti are natural enemies of the Jinn.
You can make your character know whatever you want.
He
other
doesn't
than
know about them.
yeah. So he goes. You wouldn't mean Desif, would you?
Desif. Yeah, I believe that was his name. Seemed like a nice fellow.
Well, thank you. It's actually headed that way anyway. Would you like to be escorted there?
Where?
I'm heading to the plane of air, actually.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah, the rest of my party here wants to go back, so we could join you there.
Alrighty. And I'm actually going to look at his languages. Alright.
Yeah, and they don't
can't-
speak like this, so you might have to speak common if you know it.
He goes, I know a few words here and there.
Well, if it's too difficult, you can always just give me a heads up and I'll establish a link.
Well, let's give it a go. And as you guys are approaching the... you actually manage to pull alongside his chariot, which is still moving.
Yeah,
so
I tell...
it's like you guys are going along this water-like fire, and he's just sort of going smoothly. So it's like a dude in a speedboat and somebody who's in a rubber dinghy that's being pulled by another boat. As you guys are pulling up alongside him.
So yeah, I tell the rest of you that he's agreed to lead us back to the plane of air. He was headed that way himself.
Isn't that very risky to go to, like, the planal or borders?
Well, I thought you said you wanted to go back to the plane of air.
We do, but, you know, it's very dangerous going to the planal borders. You know that, right?
It's gone pretty well so far.
The Jinni, or the Jin, as I should say, the Ifriti, he looks over and he says, he points in the direction he's going, and he says, Plain of Ash, in common.
He means the plane of air. And I tell him it's air.
He actually doesn't.
Oh, he doesn't? Because I thought he said air.
If you look at the book, if you look at the picture, there's a section called the Great Conflagration, which is also known as the Plane of Ash. It's where the wind plane and the fire plane meet.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Erdo-san would know that.
So
This
yeah,
is where the character dies, huh?
we're getting close, I guess.
So basically, the Plane of Ash, as it's called, is where wind and fire are constantly mixing, and there's a lot of ash everywhere, and it's kind of hard to get through, which is why it's part of the planial border. But this Ifriti seems to be headed in that direction and wants to go there, so perhaps he has a means of passing through? You're not sure.
So, could you ask him how he is gonna get through, like, unscathed, maybe? I don't know.
Did you catch that?
He goes, "Your weak form, not good for Plane of Ash."
Lucky show, Slatty.
He's saying that in common to you guys.
Yeah. So,
You guys have a weak form compared to his, which is immune to fire. So saying
Mike
that you
yell at him.
Can you grant me any wishes?
can he grant you any wishes? Is
Yes.
what you're trying to say? He
Yes.
goes. He talks to. He's trying to communicate with.
Yeah, I open the line. What is it?
What is this small creature asking me?
I want wishes!
Oh, I didn't hear that. Never mind.
Oh, she was wondering if you could do the magic Jin did. He showed us a couple of magic feats.
You mean like granting wishes? And you guys all see him just sort of jovially go.
More like preparing a table of food. I mean, like a banquet, that sort of stuff.
He sort of looks into his chariot, which is actually quite big. Let's see. He is a large creature. Piece of paper just fell out of my book. He's a large creature, and his chariot is big enough for something larger. But either way, he starts rooting around in his chariot, and since you guys are sort of coasting alongside of him, as long as Edo-san is still activating that thing every once in a while,
he is.
he throws over a hunk of meat towards you,
Yay!
and he says to Goroth, he says, "Meal prepared."
It seems to have done the trick. I sent a message. I mean,
He seems self-satisfied as he crosses his arms and leans against his chariot.
so yeah, how long do you reckon it'll take us to get there?
Well, he's saying in your mind, as long as you're messaging him. He goes, "Well, we're not too far. For your feeble forms, it's going to be quite a journey."
I'm
says-
sure it'll be fine if you're willing to escort us through.
He goes, "Why don't you get in my chariot? That rock seems rather cumbersome."
Yeah, do you guys want to ride in the chariot instead?
Yay!
And step in a chariot as well.
My character hops in.
Alatar is going to sleepily jump across. It's close enough. He pulls over, since you guys are basically controlling this by using momentum, basically, in order to get this to work. He understands and pulls the chariot closer, so that way you guys can just climb on.
There's only one problem. If we're still moving on, how the hell's Arison going to get on with DT?
DT, you can just order him to climb on, and you can just sort of the rock is going to have continual momentum for a little while. So that way you can just stop and then climb on.
Yeah, but it will lose some of it at the first skid, and then more and more and more.
Yes. So as long as you move quickly, you'll be able to get on.
So I let everyone else get on, and then Arastan just quickly jumps over.
All right. And I'll say that he matches the speed of the rock with his horses as he takes the reins of the horses. So that way you can relatively simply jump on. And then he starts going, rah, 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 and the horses just speed way faster than the rock has ever been moving. So then you guys are on his chariot.
Yeah, Arastan just watches the rock for a little while, seeing a skid.
Yeah, it
At a
just
certain
goes
point, stop.
and just sort of nonchalantly floats in the air above the fire for a while.
Hello.
What do you guys want to do?
I'll ask the Freaky if it's okay if we lay down a bit. Traveling the plains is a bit exhausting.
And he sort of motions towards the bottom of his chariot and he says, "Go ahead." And he actually motions towards a trap door.
Oh, I enter it.
All right. You open it, and underneath is a small cabin, compared to the Freedy at least. Relatively small. It's a place where he can rest as well, if he wanted to. So it goes beneath the level of the fire, so it sort of looked like a clean chariot with a clean bottom, but since the fire was in the way, then you couldn't see what was in here.
It's
And
bigger on the inside.
basically, it's a little bit bigger on the inside. And you can jump down in there. It's a bit of a drop, about 7-foot drop. It's big enough for him to climb down in, and then there's a large bed there, and that's pretty much all that's in there.
Arson is gonna work on DTs because he needs to be fixed up.
So you can rest inside the compartment, or you can just sit with the Ifriti if you want to talk to him. Alatar would like to talk to him, but we'll leave that for out of character stuff. So unless if you guys want to listen into what he says, then.
Arson is because he's gonna stay outside, just watch the fire.
All right. Everybody else sleeping?
Yeah.
All right. So Alatar is going to say, "So, what kind of creature are you?" And he goes, "Ifrit." And he goes, "Oh, all right. So, what are you doing heading this way?" He goes, "Go travel. Good time. Perhaps fight." And he goes, "All right." And he just sort of watches the horses and he goes, "What are these?" And he goes, "Flame spirit. Conjured to move. So he seems to be having a hard time communicating, but he's getting the message. Basically, he's conjured these fire spirits to help move his chariot. And he goes, "Interesting." And he just sort of watches them for a while before he decides that he's too tired and decides to go down into the other area. So you got a little bit of information, if you're interested in it. As he drops down into the other area, all four of you actually could rest on his bed, which is how big it is. So if you wanted to, you could do that.
Yeah.
It's a
Well,
giant
our
pit.
son is going to work on DT because that's one thing that's going to be needed.
Alright, are you going to take a long rest at some point? Or are you
Yeah,
just going to work on him for however
yeah.
long?
When he's fixed up, then our son is going to rest.
Alright. So
But I
does
think he will eventually fall asleep halfway. Halfway.
Alright. So does your character class have any stipulations on changing your creature to something else, which is
No,
partially what you're doing?
no. It just says I make it, and then it doesn't say anything about it. It doesn't say if I can upgrade it or if I can't. It doesn't say if I
Okay.
can change it or I can't.
Now,
So
how long does it say that you have to take to create it?
to create a totally new one, let me just
Yeah.
check it out for you for a moment. Where
Because
is
I'm gonna base the time how long it takes based on that.
let
I think
me
it's 7
just
days.
no shorter. I thought it was. You can 7 days, 8 hours each day.
Ah, okay. So that's quite a long time.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that it takes that long, but
Yeah, but for now, our son just fixes it up and prepares a few things.
all right. He's relatively easily fixed up, especially if you're using your mending spell along with your tinkering tools. It doesn't take that long. So you can basically get things into position with your tinkering tools, and then you use the mending spell to fully repair it. Then it doesn't take that long.
But at least keep the current configuration so that it's still usable.
Sure. What I'll say is, you can partially change it without affecting its current effectiveness, and then once it gets about halfway, then it will be partially changed. And I'll say that you can take 3 days during your long rests to change it. So the time that you would be taking during your long rests anyway, you can be. So you only have to rest 4 hours, and then the other 4 hours you can work on it. So that's what I'll say to change it. Since you're basically just changing it into something that has different stats and not upgrading it, basically, I'll say that it doesn't take you that long.
Okay. Yeah, so these are just partial changes, adjustments, but for now, it's still the old DT.
Yeah. So I'll say that you take your 4 hours and then you sort of do your meditative state, which is what elves do to rest.
Yeah, Arizona just sleeps against DT.
Which is our flavor for your meditation.
Yeah.
Technically, you don't have to sleep, but either way, the Ifriti just keeps going. And I'm going to say that it takes you about 2 days to reach your next destination. So, what do you want to do during that time?
I'd ask his name.
All right, nice. I got the thing open. I see that you're currently ready to add add a little thing for him. Let's see. Just give me a second. This isn't what I want.
What's wrong? Did you prepare a free team name?
No, I didn't.
What? That's strange.
Sure, I'll just click this.
You can come back to it later if you want.
No, it's happening now. Well, if you guys want to do anything, while I'm pulling this up.
Yeah, our son is just going get to work and such.
Well, since you're going to be taking a whole day, I'll say that counts as 2 long rests, so then you can fully transfer him over if you wish.
Okay.
If you want to do that.
Yeah, but I do
If
like.
you work through the whole day.
Yeah, since I guess, well, I also get jump in it from time to time, I guess, as well.
Alright. Let's see. Anything else?
Not currently, until I know his name at least.
Alright. I am going to post it in the thing, and I'm going to try to pronounce it. How about that?
Osmish.
Hosmish.
Osmish.
I am Hosmish, the great and powerful. But you can leave the great and powerful part off if you want.
I am just Gora.
Just Goroth.
Yes.
Good. Hello, Just.
I was gonna make that joke.
Your name is Just Goroth?
Yes, it's just Gora.
Okay, hello, Just.
Gora.
Yes, I'm gonna go into an Abbott and Costello routine if you don't
And
correct
he's gonna
him.
keep doing that for a while, like trying to correct him, but he's just says it's just Gora.
Yeah.
Because he's speaking telepathically, so you don't get all of the facial expression and the voice changing. And
Yeah, and he goes, yes, hello, Just.
no, it's just Gora. It's not. Yeah, it's just Gora.
Yes, hello, Just.
And he keeps going.
So that happens for a while. While that's happening, anybody else want to do?
I also just watches the comedic.
Technically,
Actually,
they're
you don't,
talking
because you don't hear
telepathically, so
anything.
you don't hear any of that.
Okay, well, I also just watch the 2 comedians go at each other and just points to himself says, I was on DT.
And he looks over. Hello, son. DT.
So he points to himself, but also then towards DT with when he calls DT.
Yeah, and he replicates it. Hello, son. DT.
That's right.
He nods.
Lily looks to him.
Hey, my name is Lily. How are you doing today?
I'm okay. As he pats his chest.
Good job. You're learning so fast.
He nods towards you. You're not sure if he understood everything you just said, but he nods towards you anyway. Man, I'm getting distracted by that. I'm gonna have to close that. Apparently, on the side of the screen that I was looking at, there was somebody streaming a football video game, and I was just like, "What the hell?" And then it was distracting. So, anything else that you guys want to do with this guy?
Yeah, sure. I'll use my racial abilities to detect thought, and then I'll keep asking him a few questions about the genie. Like what is it he's looking for with the genie? He seems to react when I mention it.
He looks down at you, and you get the surface thoughts. Just so annoying. And then he responds with his actual response in your mind. And he says, just wanna see him. See if he's, actually all that the rumors cut them out to be.
Oh, so you never actually met him yourself?
And he goes, of course not, in his thoughts. And then he goes, no, but I would like to know more about him.
Wait, does that get me caught? Does he know I probe this memory if I succeed? I want to check that before I decide on it.
No, I don't think so. At least,
Okay.
I
So
haven't
in
read
that-
the full spell again, but I assume not. And
Yeah,
then,
because I don't think it does. So I'm gonna try to
the
get
only way that you could tip it off is if if you say something that you're not supposed to know. As far as I know, that's how it
Okay.
works.
So I'm gonna try to probe deeper for his reason of visiting the thief.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah,
a wisdom save on his part.
Okay. So wisdom. But I think if it fails, then it means that he resisted, which means he knows that something's going on. So it's a risk
Yeah,
that
that
you'll
makes
have to
sense.
take. So it's a wisdom?
Yeah, wisdom.
Okay. He goes, little one, why are you attempting to read my mind?
I apologize. It's just a common thing for my kind to do. I hope I didn't cause you any offense, or you took any offense to it.
And you sense that you are completely kicked out of his mind. You can't even read his surface thoughts now.
That's fair.
He goes, I'm not offended. I just would have rather you asked rather than attempted to find out what I was thinking.
I'll do it the next time. I'll try to be more careful.
And he just sort of seems a little bit put off by you at this point. Because starts whipping the horses again. Anything else that you want to try to get from him?
No, not really.
Alright.
Yeah. Damn, that was...
Alright. Lily, anything?
Nope, she's enjoying the show.
Alright, so you sort of sitting on the back of a chariot watching as and it actually, when the chariot passes over fire, it sort of kicks up streams of fire as if you're riding on dirt. So it's like the dust getting kicked up, that sort of thing. But the fire gets kicked up behind it. So it's an interesting phenomenon.
Oh, okay. I totally forgot something. But never mind that. At some point, if I can manage to get the two of you down in his chambers, basically.
Yeah, I'll say that during those 2 days, he's focused on controlling these things. He's not going down into his chambers at all.
So yeah, I'll ask the two of you. So, what do you think about the Freet? I've read some of his thoughts, and it doesn't quite line up with what he's saying.
He doesn't seem as creepy as I thought he would be.
I think he might have something against the djinn that we met.
Well, he didn't blow us up or anything when we said we were with him, right?
He might be using us as bait or something because he might think we're friendly. He still doesn't seem creepy.
I could try to find out more information, but if he catches me again snooping around, he might get angry.
So yeah,
Ask him. Be straightforward and honesty and best policy, stuff like that.
Lily, Lily. Sometimes that's not the best way of action.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Paladin, yes, it is.
No, it's not. Some people are not liking that.
Paladin, yes it is.
Lenny, believe me, some people are not liking that and they're not very friendly
Do you
then.
want to flip a coin about it, Lily?
Sure.
Please no.
Okay, I'll roll 1d2. So which one is truth is best?
You're
What?
rolling? Okay.
Or I just typed in a roll, but you basically pick the number 1 or 2. If it's your number, honesty is best. If not, it's best with deception.
We're gonna die. 2.
2. 1. Deception is best. The
Deception
fates
is
have
best.
decided.
Let's just wait until we're in the plane of air so that we are safe and such.
I mean, I believe
I
I can.
totally agree. Being deceptive is the best idea right now.
I mean, I believe I could get through if I'm just more careful. I wasn't expecting
Freddy.
it to be of what?
Don't do it. Let's just wait until we're in the plane of air. Okay?
What about look towards Altar? What about your Patreon? Didn't he have a way out for us if needed?
Well, he said he was gonna try. I could talk to him again and see what happens.
Well, do tell him where we're going. Tell him where we're going to the plane of ash and then straight into the plane of air so that he kind of knows where we are.
Well, I heard him say plane of ash. That might help him. So he
So
gets
we
down on
wait
that.
for him to finish, then I assume.
All right.
Yeah.
He goes into his meditative state. A little bit of an uncomfortable wait, actually, as he stays in that trance for a little while, and then he comes back out.
All this Alatar roleplay when he's not even here.
Yeah. He comes out and he goes, well, he could send us. He could try to open a portal, but not here. It might start a forest fire or something. That's his main concern.
If we manage to get to some sort of land, he would be able to do it, right?
Yes, I would assume so.
In that case, if you were to...
Technically, he could do it now, but it might be catastrophic to the Feywild.
So we have a backup plan.
Ooh. I have a decant of endless water.
I have cold magic.
Okay, you want me to tell him to open it anyway?
Well, I guess we
Let's
should
hold on
better...
for now. Let's just try to see what this Afriti is up to.
Yeah, that seems like the best idea. Oh yeah, and we were going for Aaqa. Was it the city called? The head city of the plane of air?
AAQA is how it's
Yeah.
spelled.
Yeah, Aaqa.
Yeah,
That's how Erson just pronounced. That's how Erson just pronounced it.
So is he within 30 feet of us? Or if we like open the hatch, basically.
If you open the hatch, he's about 5 feet away from the opening.
Yeah, so I just get on back to the surface and then sit down one of the places I've sat a lot of the time.
You're actually sitting on some of his supplies that he has sitting next to him, like it might be
I assume I've been
food or...
sitting there for a long time, so it'll be
Yeah.
fine, right? Yeah.
He's fine with you sitting on them. Otherwise, he would have told you not to.
Yeah. Then again, this is still the same day, right? So I use the racial ability. So I'm gonna use a spell slot to cast it instead.
Okay.
And I'm gonna try again. Or what's the surface? Or
Yeah, you automatically get some
Yeah.
surface thoughts before you dive.
Before you die?
Dive.
before you die. That seems accurate.
Well, you can take it that way if you want, but that isn't what I said. But either way, So you get that he's like, these little things are kind of a nuisance, but guess we'll make it there just as quickly either way. And he's sort of just steering the horses every once in a while. Ha! Ha!
This time I'm gonna make an actual good effort to not being noticed. So I'm gonna heighten my spell, which does this. This is one of my meta magic. Costs 3 sorcery points, and he has disadvantage on the roll.
You can spend 3 sorcery points to give one target of the spell disadvantage, which there is only one target, so you can do that. So
Yeah.
he has disadvantage. Boop, boop. So 11.
That does not succeed.
Alright, so he just continues moving like this, sort of nonchalantly. And you get... So the way that I usually work this is, since you're diving deeper, you can basically get whatever you want. So what type of information are you looking for?
I'm looking for basically its insight into the genie, like what its relationship to it is, what its motivations is, or basically as insight into its reasoning towards the genie, like what it wants with it, and that sort of thing.
All right, you get a flash of a genie with a bunch of those aaqa, or whatever they're called, attacking what looks like a group of these Ifriti creatures, and then they suddenly push them. The Ifriti creatures use their curved swords to push them back, summoning flame in their hands, throwing flame at them, at these flying creatures, and then the genie gets into a defensive position just as one of them spins its sword and just cleaves the head off of this genie. And then you're seeing it from the perspective of one of the other people who didn't do that. So you're assuming it's him because it's his memories. And they all go, and then you realize that you're on the plane of air, and apparently they just attacked this genie unprovoked. And they were losing the battle at one point, but then they just started to come back after a while.
Okay, so they are basically they're the provoker, or they started the fight basically.
Seems as though that's the case. It seems like when you're digging, you usually get the most relevant piece of information, and that memory seemed like it came to the top. So.
And then I'll look for passing through the plane of ash, if he's heard any other ways of doing it other than his natural resistance.
All right. So here's what you get. You see a flash of him just going through, which is he just rides on through, and the ash just goes around him, and he doesn't care. But then you get a flash of him having to take other creatures through, and he basically had the chariot, and he just got them to go under the chariot as he went through.
Okay.
And they were safe inside, apparently.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna relay that information one by one without speaking.
Okay. So each of you get a separate message in your head saying, this is how he got through. And this is the other information. Basically reiterating everything that I just said.
Yeah. So you get the base idea of what Matt said.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say that you can basically see the memories that he's trying to convey to you. So I'll say that you see the same scenes that he saw.
So as he messaged Aerosol, he asked, so should we with that guy as soon we get into plane of air?
I mean, it would be rude for us to do it after. If we're gonna kill him, we should just do it now.
No, I mean, we do want to get into plane of air before we actually go and do that.
Well, then we shouldn't kill him until he has done something to deserve it.
Well, okay, if you think so.
I don't like death, so I don't know. I don't think we should kill him just yet until we can get to where we're going and then find out more details or kill him.
Yeah, like the little one said.
Okay, that's 2 against 1. If you guys, what about Altair? What do you say?
Altair goes, I'm just along for the ride, really, at this point. I have a way out if you wish to take it, but otherwise I'll follow you guys' lead.
I mean, it seems interesting to go this afraid.
Yeah. As long as it's interesting, I'm pretty much there. As you know.
Well, okay, I guess we will wait here with their feet here. Oh yeah, I finished up these new adjustments.
Alright, does he look any different?
He looks a bit more agile than before, but less strong, so to say.
Alright, so you took some of the metal plating off to make it a little bit easier for his arms to move and whatnot. Which
Yeah, and he,
reduces his strength but ups his dex, is what I'm gonna say.
yeah, and he has a more nasty, for say claws and a nasty kick to give out.
Alright, so you took some of the armor, I'll say, and refashioned it into something that looks a little bit more gnarly, I'll say, on his fists.
X-Men
Yeah.
claws, guaranteed.
Yeah, he has claws and he can literally give someone spikes to the face with a kick.
Alright, so he has basically what look like spiky boots, and his fists have these little shards of metal coming out of them, is what I'll say.
Yeah.
Rather than, like, stereotypical claws. More just, he's got brass knuckles that are spiky, that sort of thing. If you can picture it that way.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what you want, but you can have whatever
that's
you want.
possible.
But if you like what I'm describing, then
Yeah, I do.
all right. So he has basically like if you've ever seen like those apocalypse movies where they have those bikers with the spiky boots when they kick people, that sort of thing, like steel-toed boots with spikes on them, if you can picture that, and then like
Yeah, I can.
fists, sort of like brass knuckles. And he looks a little bit more skinnier, agile. Because he was taking metal off and whatnot.
So also, we're having a new rest before the thing is gonna happen, or am I out
Yes.
spell slot? Okay, so I'm just checking to see if I have the special attack or not.
Okay. Yeah, if you guys want to do anything else before you get there, you still have about a day. And he's feeding you and everything. He just lights his hand on fire and just puts it next to the meat. Or if you're cooking anything, he just puts it next to whatever you want cooked, and it just cooks after a little time.
Yeah, Assad will try and fix Altair's gun.
It doesn't seem like. Never mind. Go. It's just online, like lagging.
Yeah, I know. We keep talking over each other. It happens. Basically, make a tinkerer's check.
I can use mends to do like a few parts, but tinkering is needed, yeah.
A tinkering check to see what's wrong with it. Basically to diagnose it. See why it's broken.
13.
Right. There is an obvious problem with it. You click the trigger a few times and nothing happens, which is an indication of the element within it being broken or unable to activate. So there's that. but there may be other problems. You start looking through. The barrel doesn't seem like it was cleaned in a while. I'm not sure about that. But otherwise, it seems relatively okay.
Do I spot any enchantment mites?
All right, you can look for those. Make an investigation check. See if you can find them.
10.
No, nothing like that. You even use your little magnifying glass on this little thing that you can tip down from your lenses, and you don't see anything.
Well, it's clean. Let's see if I can. Well, let's at least clean it up a little bit and then try fix it more.
All
I
right.
was just gonna try and fix it up, try to get it in working order at least.
All right. So, based on you start taking it apart, like it's disassemblable, so you can disassemble it a little bit. You look at where the element is, and you see that it seems like it's disenchanted. That's the problem.
So Arson freaks out a little bit that he might have missed the enchantment mites because he does know about that.
You sort of look it over. You don't really see any mites on it, but it is disenchanted.
So I heard it is, and then you cut out for me.
Am I cutting out?
No, not really.
Oh well,
Yeah.
then it's just my side, I guess.
Okay, so basically, it's disenchanted, but you don't see anything that's caused it to be disenchanted. It might be just that there was a spell cast on it to disenchant it, or there was some other event that caused it to become disenchanted.
So
Fine,
can
nice.
Arson like re-enchant it for some? Because I do have the ability to put spells into objects.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure your class can make bag of holding and stuff like that.
Yep.
How long does it take to create an item like that?
It doesn't. That's the thing. I can do that.
It's on specific levels, basically.
Yeah, I can do that. It
Ah.
doesn't say anything.
It's basically
That
when
is
you level to this level, you can pick one of these, basically.
That's completely unhelpful for this situation.
Yep.
So it's up to you.
Oh, I do know one thing that takes an amount of time to make, and that's the gun and the arcane magazine. The arcane
Okay.
magazine.
Okay, yes. The gun. How long does it usually take for you to make the gun? I'm gonna
3
subtract some time because when you're making a gun, you have to make the body and that's
Yeah, but
stuff.
this is a two-handed gun, so
Yeah, that's also true. But I'm just trying to figure out how long it takes to make an entire gun, and then I'm gonna subtract time. So go ahead.
okay. For my thunder cannon, it takes 3 days, 8 hours of work each day. For the arcane magazine, it takes let's see, you can create a new one as part of your long rest.
Okay, so I'll say that you can take after you take during a long rest. You'll
That's
be
the
able to fix
arcane
this gun.
magazine.
Yes, I'll say that
Okay.
it takes the same amount of time to re-enchant this thing.
Okay.
Because you're basically making an enchantment with the arcane magazine.
Mhm.
So that's the hardest part. So
Well,
I'll say that it's the same amount of time.
well, you know, the arcane magazine is to make the ammo just magically appear.
Yeah, it's an enchantment to cause that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to make an enchantment to make this thing work. So I'm gonna say that it doesn't break the game to make it the same amount of time.
Okay. Oh.
All right.
Happened.
So, what I'm gonna say is I'm gonna try to get to the plane of Ash before you guys I end this off. So as long as we got enough time to do that, then
Oh, we have another hour, so I think we have enough time, right?
not for Lonnie. She has to go soon.
When do you have to leave?
In about 5 minutes, I have to go pick up my daughter.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I don't think we have enough time at all then.
All right, so I can expedite a few things, unless if you guys have other things that you want to do.
Well,
I mean, the only thing I
Arson
had
will
planned
fix
was
the gun, I
the
guess. He will work a little bit on DT, designs and such and such.
Yeah, so that's
Just
fine.
basic Arson stuff.
Yeah, so that's cool. Anything
Yep.
from Lily? We'll try to get her.
Just talk to the Jin.
Yeah,
Um,
Ifriti, yeah.
Yeah, probe him a little bit.
All right, so I'll say that you basically don't get anything new. It's just that it wants to go there to have a good time, is what it tells you. And it has a hard time communicating with you in the first place. So, it tries its best, but you don't really get any substantive information.
Okay.
And that works based on its personality anyway, so.
The only thing I was going to do is ask Lily if she wanted to go plane jumping if we had the day.
You know she'd say yes. Yes.
So I figured out I could send you to a total of 7 planes if I use all my spell slots and rearrange them with my sorcery point bonus. But I'll be out of all spells and sorcery points, basically.
All right.
So
So
you can
here's
go to
what's
7 different planes.
okay. Yes. So here's what's gonna happen. Since we're very limited on time, you guys get to the wall of the plane of ash, which it is like a clear-cut wall. It's just it goes up as far as you can see and down as far as you can see. Like there's the sea of fire around you, and the wall is just ash and fire and wind whipping around everywhere, and it's almost like a solid wall. You assume that you wouldn't survive going through there. The wind would be whipping you around as you couldn't breathe because of the ash, and you'd be burning because of the fire. So it's not a good time for a regular person. Either way, you arrive there, and the Afridi actually stops the horses and looks at you guys and says, "You ready?"
Yes!
Arson just heads down into their sleeping room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
What
I
about
think
Gorath?
we did. So yeah, we're ready, and I'll stay up at the deck without going down, because he hasn't technically told us that yet.
Yeah. Well, Aerosong can still do that, and
Yeah.
maybe not raise suspicion. So he goes, "Go," and he points to the trapdoor. "Protect."
Oh, okay. I'll go downstairs as well.
All right. So everybody goes down, and I'll say that for the next little while, you're stuck inside there, and that is where we'll end off. So that is where we'll end off.